Section 31 is either almost upon us or has just released, depending on when this releases. All I know is that Tom locks me in a room and every now and again says, it'll go out on this day. So, happy whatever day it is. What I'm really excited about for right now is that we had the chance to sit down with some of the cast and crew for Section 31 in the run-up to the film's release. So in this video, I'm going to be bringing you our chats with Sven Ruygrok, who played Fuzz, with Rob Kazinsky, who played Zeph. We also have a quick chat with Kacey Rohl, who played Rachel Garrett, Omari Hardwick, who played Alok Sahar. We also had the chance to have a quick chat with Olatunde Osunsanmi and Alex Kurtzman himself. So folks, I hope you enjoy, and join me again at the end of this video for a quick wrap up and possibly a slight freak out. Absolutely. I'm Seán Ferrick from TrekCulture. It's very nice to meet you both. Thank you very much for taking the time to sit down with us.
Thank you. Thank you for sitting with us.
Oh, absolute pleasure. Congratulations on the film. I've seen it. It's so much fun. And just so you know as well, we will be publishing this after release. So I'll probably ask you, how you feel about the overall project as well. Olatunde, I would like to start with you first, because I wanted to ask you, you've spoken in interviews about the difference between directing series to film, but from your point of view, what does it feel like, and what is it like to create a Star Trek film in the 2020s?
Well, I think if you told my 10-year-old self who was watching KCOP and checking out TNG at the time, that I would be sitting here talking to you, answering that question, he wouldn't have believed me. He would not have believed me. It's you pinch yourself, you think, oh my God, I can't believe this is actually happening. You're excited to go to work every day. And it's also been great, just as a filmmaker, to be able to take advantage of the technology that I've got today, whether that be the VR wall, whether that be having an unbelievable visual effects department that's run by Jason Zimmerman. The technology we have today that wasn't available yesterday, and apply it to today's sensibilities. It's been exhilarating and a lot of fun.
Excellent. I'm delighted to hear it as well. And obviously this project in particular has had quite the gestation, if you like, over the last few years. Alex, if you wouldn't mind, could you speak about, say, the journey of what Section 31 began as to what it's now become, and what that process has been like for you?
Yeah, it's been an incredible ride. It started as a series, and we got fairly far down the road, and then COVID hit and shut it down, as it shut everything down, and kind of changed the schedule of our lives, but also the schedule of the streaming service. And then Michelle won an Oscar, and that changed everything too. And then a strike happened, and so there were all these events that happened that kind of ended up determining the course of the film. What was really wonderful was there was always extreme commitment to tell the story in some form, and nobody was more committed than Michelle Yeoh. And right after she won the Oscar, which would have been the easiest time for her to run away from this, she doubled down and she was like, I'm going to use what I have now to make sure that it happens, which was an incredible thing. I mean, it's a testament to how incredible she is. What was great was that Craig Sweeney, who had been our showrunner and is now the writer of Section 31, had done a lot of work to really think about the world of Section 31. And it's an interesting world because it's the world outside of Federation space. That's Section 31's charter. They can't operate in Federation space. And so many of the elements that are in the film were elements that had been conceived of for the show. So in a way, all the work that had been done on the show really contributed to this in a great way. And because of Michelle's schedule, it made more sense to do it as a film. And if you're looking at it as a film, I think what excited us so much was the idea of doing a redemption story in the form of a space Western. You have a character who has these tremendous sins that she's carrying around that she has to atone for. And, like all great redemption stories, is resisting her better angels only to ultimately realize that in order to find her redemption, she needs to let them in. And that's particularly fun for a character like Georgiou, because she's so funny and because she's so wry. And she has an edge to her that makes it unprecious, which was very important to us as well. So in a way, I feel like we landed on the best version of it, through a confluence of events that were beyond our control. Tunde did an incredible job against very, very challenging circumstances to to get this movie made and direct it beautifully. And the cast that came together was really, really fun. And I think we're all really proud of how it turned out.
I'm super excited for people to see it as well. I suppose I know time is against us, but I've one quick question, is that the idea of a long trek like this is something that is wonderful and it's like a gift to the fans. Is there a plan for more long treks? Is it something that's dependent on how Section 31 is received? What does that look like in, I suppose, as quick as we can with what we have? Sorry.
Yeah, I think we would love to. I think we would love to do it. I think there are so many variables that contribute to whether or not that's possible, but we're open to absolutely anything is the short answer. We would love to do more, and we would love to tell stories. Part of what's fun about changing the length of a story is that it's an interesting challenge from a creative perspective, because you get to live more deeply in certain things you don't always have time for. And you get to explore corners of storytelling that you don't always have time for in shorter form stories. But to me, the length of the story a story or a movie or a TV show is always dictated by what story you're telling. Some stories are served better by being longer, and some are served better by being shorter. So it's one of those things where the story ultimately tells you what it needs.
Absolutely. I want to thank you both so much again for your time. Super excited for Section 31 to drop, and thanks again for just everything for the moment. And well done.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Be well.
How are you getting on, Seán from TrekCulture? Nice to meet you. Are you well?
Well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Rob, nice to see you again. How are you?
Yeah, you too, pal.
And Sven, lovely to meet a nice fellow Irishman. Are you well?
I'm very good. Thank you.
Congratulations to both of you on the film. Just to let you know as well, we will be publishing this after the film comes out, so I'll probably ask you some spoilery questions. So the first question I'll ask you is, Sven, have you apologised to Rob for killing him yet?
I have not yet apologized, and I never will.
Okay, fair.
So mean.
I was like, is this the tensest press junket that's ever happened? No, just really quick. Actually, Sven, really quickly. You had something like 3 different roles in this film. What was that like for you, from getting the first script to being told, right, okay, you're gonna have to learn on the fly here because you're gonna have to keep changing?
Yeah, overwhelming, daunting, and incredibly exciting. I think it's like an actor's dream, like 3 people in one film. What a gift. And I think I had the privilege and the joy, and I quite like accents. So I'm from South Africa. That's my background. That's my home. So getting to play these otherworldly people within a confined space was just thrilling.
Excellent. And of course, Rob, as we've spoken before, you're quite the Trekkie. So how did it feel when this script comes to you and you're like, I'm going to be in Star Trek? Like, what?
I think I had the same feelings that any Trek fan would feel, which would be like, but Section 31 horrible. Section 31 film. Why can't I be on the bridge of the new Enterprise? I want to be on the Starship. And then when you read it and you kind of go, like I talked to you about it in London, like the necessity for Section 31 and how like the bigger, grander universe and all of those kind of things. And the more you get into it and you kind of getting to spend time with like the different elements and the different characters, like hanging out with Giorgio and the history. Like, we should talk about this on your podcast at some point, but like Giorgio is fundamentally a cornerstone of every aspect of the Federation, past, present, and future. Like, she's now going to be a cornerstone of how Section 31 influences the past. She's a cornerstone of how Michael Burnham has influenced the future and was based in the present. Well, the present. Like that, if that doesn't excite you as a Star Trek fan, that you're in the absolute crux of everything that is Star Trek, I don't know what will.
It's just the feeling. Excitement is, I think, the right word.
Yeah.
Because this opens so many doors for stories as well, and Sven, back to yourself. Of course, you're in a position to come back in future stories as well. Potentially playing again multiple characters. But for you, was Star Trek something that you were necessarily, as like I know Rob's a card-carrying Star Trek fan. Have you been a Star Trek fan for as long? Did you have that weight of, oh my God, what am I taking on here?
So definitely had that weight. So I'm a huge Tolkien fan. So Lord of the Rings was my thing, but also grew up with like Xena, the Warrior Princess, Biker Mice from Mars, and Power Rangers. But that doesn't quite translate to Do you know what it is? It's the gravitas of the world. It's the iconic nature of the world. So even though I didn't grow up with Star Trek, I appreciate the world. And there is always a sense of duty and responsibility to what has been, what is, and what will come. But at the same time, you are beholden to the script. You know, you're beholden to, you're serving a vision. So there's great trepidation when I entered this of like, holy smokes. This is Star Trek. And it's hilarious because my parents, they're very excited and very stoked, but they keep telling everyone that I'm in Star Wars. I'm like, Mom, you cannot come with me anywhere. You will find. So like, but there is such loyalty and there is such love. So you want to do it justice. And I think going into this, what I experienced wasn't the weight of it all. It was what Trek really means to people, and it was a sense of family, and it was a feeling of coming home to family. Whether you're an Oscar winner, an Emmy winner, or just plain me from South Africa, I felt like I was home amongst friends.
I love that. Star Trek is often, home is a word that gets used with Star Trek a lot, so I love that both. And what I love as well with both of your characters in particular is that you both bring very different energies. Rob, with yours, I have this, there's a very straightforward, straight talking, almost, just I'm here, I'm having fun energy. Whereas Sven, you bring a demented energy that, and between the pair of you, how much fun was that to play off each other on set?
So much fun. But also a little bit of back, like the first time I met Rob was in Toronto. I was at the gym and somebody just tapped me on the back and said, "Hey, Sven." And I turned around, it was Rob. And within 45 minutes, he was up in the hotel room and we were having a cup of tea together, chatting about Star Trek, the history, how was the audition process, like all of that. So I think what ended up happening was that there was a brotherly relationship that grew both off screen and on screen of like, there's this chemistry here between the two of us of like, I want to punch your face, but I love you, but I also want to eat your face alive. But like, and there was this banter that kept on happening. And it's just a joy to be in people's presence who both love the show, are giving their best. And I think Rob is a perfect example of that.
It is one of those things, being the Trek fan on it, being the person that knows. And the first time I met Seán, by the way, the other day, the first thing he said was, "Hello, nice to meet you, and tell me your thoughts on the Treaty of Algeron." Like, tested immediately. You kind of like, you want everybody to know what they're working on. Like, I want you guys to know what this is to me. Like, I want you to know the history. Do you have any questions? Because I can answer them. And then we would get to set and we had like a few weeks of like playing around, and the energy that like Sven brought, especially when you would exit the conveyance and you would just be like the robot, like catatonic robot kind of thing. And then you would have Sam doing his thing and Umbale just being it was like we found very quickly, because we did it on the first day in the round table, like everybody had to find their niche of how they're going to affect that scene and bring that energy. And I think that by the end of that first day, which was a 12-page scene, I think it was originally, we knew our characters and we knew exactly what each of us were having to do in this world. And I think it comes across pretty hard.
I'd say I enjoyed it a lot. Thank you both so much for your time. Definitely, I'll have you back on the podcast at any time. I'll make time for you, no problem. You know that. But in the meantime, good luck on Friday. Hope you enjoy the reviews, everything, and live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper, bro.
Thank you both.
Pleasure to meet you, Seán. Thanks for having us, man.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you both so much. I'll let you know in the beginning as well. I'm going to publish this after the movie comes out, so I'm probably going to get spoilery. Okay. So I can open by saying congratulations, you both live.
Yes,
we made it out. Brilliant. Oh, delighted because I mean there was a moment there where it looked like nobody was getting out.
Yeah, there was that moment between the last 15 minutes of the movie. That's the point, right?
Yeah.
The TikTok,
things got really real.
The real TikTok is happening in those last 15 to 10 minutes. So we made it. We are here.
I love it. And listen, no film is complete without a good ticking clock, so that was absolutely brilliant. I wanted to jump straight in, and first of all, congratulations on the film.
Thank you.
And I'm really excited for it to hit the airwaves. Omari, for yourself first, yours is a character. You're in nearly every single scene. You have so much weight that the character needs to carry. How was that for you? And with the added legacy that goes with the character,
Yes.
how did that inform your performance?
Great question. Great leading question. What aided in the informing of the character were the prior smells, looks, legends, if you will. Obviously, I can't say fellow because that's far from where I am as an actor and career-wise. But you do have a legend in William Shatner. You do have a legend in what we saw from even Picard. You do have, as an actor, you do have a legend in William Sadler, who, as you know, is a castmate of mine on Power. And with William Sadler, who I call Sad Man, and that is nowhere near because he's a sad man. He is an extremely happy, beautiful individual, and I miss him often. And I know why I miss him. I miss him because of his soul and spirit. So to that point, what I used in informing Alok was the soul and the spirit that not only is imbued or comes with Star Trek, but also that which you see in these incredible characters who've been captains, lieutenants, admirals, you know. I think at one point Spock always referred to, or not at one point, he did refer to Captain Kirk as not captain, but admiral. And so there's an admirable quality to Alok from the gate. That was easy to wear. I was trying to figure out perhaps because of which, I was trying to figure out the things that are not so admirable about the guy. Because he's pointing the finger from the onset at Michelle Yeoh's Philippa Georgiou. So what I did was I reversed that mirror, man, and I came in, and I'm typically this way in terms of process. I'm trying to break the mirror, grab the shards of glass, and cut myself all the way to pieces in terms of the character I'm stepping into. The goods are already there. Why should I focus on that? I'm usually focusing on the insecure moments of a person, the insecurities in general of a person. So that informed, to your point, how I was able to play a guy that is holding frame, and Michelle and Alex Kurtzman and Olatunde are trusting me in my ability to hold frame. But I'm doing so perhaps knowing most the flaws that this guy comes with. And then saving face and trying to hold that together. And hopefully, you know, the camera catches that, ooh, I see something, I see him about to crack. And sometimes the operative is about, not cracking, but about to crack. And I just played him from that place and tried to use the moments that the brilliant writer of Craig Sweeney, put on page for me to be able to be light and of levity. All of that didn't make the cut, as we now know. Because of when you're posting this, we can say that. The world knows that some of that didn't make the cut. But I had fun in those moments, which equally allowed me to be more on point and more cross T.I, because I was able to get loose, at least on page, even if the world's not seeing that. A really great lead-in question, my man.
Thank you so much. And I know our time is short, but Kacey, I wanted to say as well, since that Variety article published, and we knew Rachel Garrett was going to be in this film, I mean, the internet has been abuzz. She's one of the most well-known and least seen characters in Star Trek. How was that into taking on a role like that? How was that stepping into those boots and into that place?
Yeah, big boots. I mean, an incredible honor, and I like to tip the hat to Trisha O'Neill any chance I get. She set me up so well, right? Like, yesterday's Enterprise and her work in that episode is just so rad. So knowing that was sort of the end point of this character was just really inspiring, you know, that within this story there were opportunities to plant many seeds. And you know, maybe there'll be opportunities to plant more seeds. I don't know. Yeah, knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
That then get to, you know, come to fruition in that episode. So I think it's an incredible honor to play her. She's obviously so important to Trek fans, to Trek as a whole. That decision she makes, big deal, big deal. So I don't take that lightly. I feel a real responsibility to do right by her, to represent her well. hopefully I pulled it off. And
She's your new bestie.
you know, I love her. I really do love her, and I want to keep taking care of her.
Thank you both so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I look forward to seeing future adventures on the Enterprise C.
Yes.
But yes, in the meantime, good luck with everything, and I can't wait for everyone to see the film. How cool was that? Okay, come on, that was a bit cool. That's what I've been telling myself in my head ever since, because I'm just like, I love my job. Folks, I hope that you enjoy section 31. Do let me know what you think of it. We, of course, will have our ups and downs. We have the video ups and downs, which will be my ugly mug for a while. This was not a short one. And, of course, we have the written ups and downs, which was done by Jack Kiley as well. So that will be available on whatculture.com. Please make sure you're following us on the channel, all the various things, Blue Sky, the other socials, where it's nice and simple, at TrekCulture, at Seán Ferrick, at Tom C. Finn, at Edit Chris, Edit. We're all there. We're all there. At Jack Kiley 74656. I always wonder about getting the numbers wrong. I know it's Voyager's registration. I know. You look after yourself till I'm talking to you again. Thank you so much. And new Star Trek. Live long and prosper.